I am proud to introduce Dr. Nilanjan Banerjee, who's an associate professor in computer science and electrical engineering. Dr. Banerjee is an expert in mobile and embedded sensor systems. He is the recipient of numerous awards, including a National Science Foundation Career Award, a Microsoft Research Software Engineering Innovations Award, a UMBC's Up and Coming Inventor Award, a Yahoo Outstanding Dissertation Award, and received the Best Undergraduate Thesis Award from the Indian Institute of Technology in Kharagpur. His research and commercialization effort have been highlighted in several news outlets, including the Baltimore Sun, the Washington Post, and the MIT Technology Review. He's going to talk to us about when what you wear understands you. And I know this for a fact when I go home and I put on my old sweatshirt. Because it understands me.
It's going to change. 2007, January, Steve Jobs released this thing called the iPhone and called it a magical product. Since then, this particular device called the smartphone has become the center of our existence. Can you just imagine a day that you wake up and you don't look at your smartphone screen for your Facebook updates or your Twitter updates or your emails, or for some of you, the Tinder updates? Well, the revolution of the smartphone took place at 2007. And 10 years from then, we are at the brink of yet another revolution, the revolution of the next generation wearables. Just imagine a scenario where you will get your Tinder updates on your sweatshirt, for instance. So what is this bias? Where are we going with this? So the goal of today's talk here, from my perspective, is to take you through a brief journey of what these wearables can do and what the technical as well as the ethical challenges are when you're building these wearables. So just imagine a scenario where the sensors that you deal with are not necessarily wearable, but are part of what you wear. So I'm still wearing my jeans fabric, and it's made up of cotton. But if I replace this cotton fabric with silver-coated nylon, what changes does it make? My jeans is still my jeans, but now my jeans is equipped with thousands, if not millions, of sensors. You can think of these as very small computers just looking at your body and doing various things for you: physiological monitoring, activity monitoring, and in many cases, trying to understand your body language. So these sensors in the long run would be able to figure out that I'm actually at Starbucks hiding from my students. Or possibly I'm in a party when I should be working on my homework. This sort of body language recognition using these sensors, the type that we are building in our lab, can be especially useful for a specific population group, folks who are suffering from spinal cord injury and paralyses. These are individuals who have very limited mobility. And this particular device that we are building as part of our clothing can then be used as an input device. Just think about a scenario where I get rid of this particular clicker, right? So when I look at this clicker, there are like 15 buttons on this. I have to figure out which button I have to click to essentially navigate through my slides. Can I replace that with my clothing, where through some intuitive gestures on top of my clothing, I can slide that through all of my slides? And you can use this also as an input device where you can control your environment. So people suffering from spinal cord injury, for instance, would have very limited mobility on their upper extremities. This could be just movement of their fingers or even muscular twitching. So if these sensors are actually built into your clothing, then they can capture these subtle movements. And then you can use this for controlling your lights, your appliances, your televisions, making a nurse call or even a 911 call. And if we take it to the next extremity, for people who are suffering from higher level spinal cord injury, they only have tongue movement as their only input modality. If we replace these textile sensors with micro radars, which are the same sensors that you use in your car to detect if you're jamming into another car or not, it can detect muscular movements which correspond to your tongue gestures. And if you're able to build software on top of these tongue gestures, then we can use them as an input modality, again, to do everything that this clicker can do. Another area where wearable sensors would have a profound impact is healthcare. So an average age of a baby boomer today is around 60 years, and they're going to retire at some point. And there are statistics which show that there would be at least 20% of them spending time in a doctor's clinic once a month. Just think about the amount of resources that you would require in a doctor's clinic to cater to this population. Wouldn't it be nice if that clinic could be taken to your house? So we are building sensors that you can potentially strap onto your ankle and go to bed. And in the morning, it will tell you how fragmented your sleep is, how poor your sleep is, and whether you're prone to sleep-related disorders like restless leg syndrome, attention deficit, hypertension, and even things like cardiac issues. So in a sense, what we are trying to do is take this clinic out from the doctor's office and bring it into your home. So now I don't have to go to a sleep lab, wear all of these sensors in an alien environment, pay like thousands of dollars, and do the same thing at home. We can also apply these sensors in a driving scenario to save lives. So there are statistics out there which shows that about 1 million people die every year in the United States due to road fatalities, which amounts to about 3,500 people per day dying due to road accidents. Some people say that the hurricane that happened last month actually saved lives because nobody was on the road. So some of these sensors that we are building for clothing can also be built into car seats, can also be built into headrests of car seats. And it can detect through whole body movement whether you're driving distracted, whether you're driving drunk, whether you're driving drowsy. And it can potentially give you alerts on ways through which you can drive safely. It seems that most of the work in building these sensors is a computer science problem or a computer engineering problem. That's not true at all. In fact, building a wearable system requires knowledge from varied areas. You have to build the sensors, you have to build the hardware on top of the sensors, you have to build the signal processing algorithms that take this data and make meaning out of it. Then you have to build applications on top of it to make them useful. And more importantly, all of these sensors are useless unless people use it. So you have to have human-computer interaction folks as well as design folks looking at the problem and making these sensors usable for common people. So I can enumerate almost every department on this campus that can dive into this problem and make this problem solvable in the long run. It's a strictly interdisciplinary problem to be solved. So in addition to these technical challenges that I talked about, there are also moral and ethical issues that you need to address. Do I really want my students to know that I'm in Starbucks hiding from my office? Or do I really want my parents to know that I'm partying when I should be actually working on my homework? So there are definitely some privacy issues that needs to be addressed, and that has to be totally personalized. So with great power comes great responsibility. Said Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, it has to be true. So with these wearable sensors, you do get a lot of flexibility and utility. But the way you build these sensors should be personalized, should be cognizant of the privacy and security issues that people might have. So I would leave you today with one thought. So when you go back home today, think about what you want these next generation wearables to do. And more importantly, think about what you want these next generation wearables not to do. Thank you.